So we're going to jump back into Stephen Bradshaw's testimony to the Post Office Horizon IT inquiry and try to establish, did he actually tell people that they were the only one, the much used and oft said phrase that was highlighted to us during the drama Mr. Bates versus the Post Office? And did he think him and his fellow investigator acted with professionalism at all times? Let's jump into the inquiry.
Can we go back, please, to your witness statement? That's WITN 04450100, and it's page 6, paragraph 19A. Now, you're addressing a different case study in paragraph 19A. It's page 6, thank you. You're addressing the case of MacDonald in this particular paragraph, but you say here, I can categorically state that I have never said to any person I have interviewed, and definitely not to Jacqueline MacDonald, that she was the only one in that position. Should we take that statement to mean that I, Stephen Bradshaw, never said to anybody that they were the only one in that position, but the person sitting next to me in the interview may well have?
I wouldn't expect anybody sitting next to me to say you're the only one in that position that this has happened to. I've never heard that be said.
I mean, are we playing with words here? He does seem to say words to those effects, as in it's not really happening to other people. You know, I know that you've stolen it. I mean, it's possibly a bit of a stretch, but certainly an inference, you would think, from the previous interview transcript we've looked at.
Perhaps we'll return back to the interview then. Poll 000047322.
May I just clarify? I think I know what you're going back to. If it's saying you're the only one in that position, that would be for in that particular branch. Nobody else is having the same issues.
Well, I mean, that's kind of adding additional context, which isn't there in the words, isn't it? So it seems a bit suspicious, you know, particularly remembering all this time later. Well, actually, what I meant is you're only one in that position at that branch. I mean, was that something that they could prove? Were they really? Or was it just that the sub-postmaster was the one on the hook?
Let's have a look at page 11 of the interview that we were just looking at, please. It's halfway down. Mr. Gardner said, no one else is making mistakes like you. You were in that interview. You were sitting next to him. Did you correct him? Did you say that's not an appropriate thing to say?
As I explained, it has to be taken in the right context. In this case, for pension allowances, everybody's pension allowance submissions in that branch was checked. The only issues within the B stock unit that Miss Brennan had, they were the only issue. She was the only one in that post office that had the issue for pension allowance. No other work was affected.
So that's even more additional context there. No, he didn't mean it as in you're the only one, the famous line we've heard from the drama Mr. Bates versus the Post Office. But actually, it meant just people at the branch, and actually it was only her one that was out in relation to the pension dockets. There's a lot of things to read between the lines there, surely, for somebody who's quite stressed in an interview under caution for something that they can't explain because they've not taken the money.
And the reason, after you've cashed the pension allowance vouchers, you get a printout, and either Miss Brennan or another member of staff would check the number of vouchers against the printout, and that's where you would identify any error.
Quite a number of people have given evidence to this inquiry saying that they were told that they were the only ones that this was happening to. A fair reading of that is surely that she is being told that no one is making mistakes on the Horizon system.
As I say, it has to be taken in the right context within that branch, that she was the only one that was having issues with the pension allowance submissions.
If he said other members of staff were checking it, though, surely that means that they're... I'm confused. If it's only her involved, but you're saying another member of staff is checking them, then it's not just her as a single member of staff that you're implicating with these allegations, is it? Maybe the sub-postmaster is the one that's responsible and the one you feel is on the hook, but that seems to be an important clarification that he himself has offered.
Do you think that was therefore an appropriate thing to say to her? That nobody else is making mistakes like you?
In that branch, nobody else was having them mistakes.
So you have no concerns about that form of words being used in that interview?
No, because their pension allowances were checked, and it was found that the only air submissions shown overstated vouchers.
You have no concerns about Mr. Gardner and his approach to asking questions in interview?
It's a PACE interview.
It's a what, sorry?
It was an interview in accordance with PACE.
Did you call it a police interview
No,
or a PACE?
PACE, sorry. And the questions are difficult.
Do you think that you were professional during the course of the interviews that you carried out?
I do, yes.
Do you think Mr. Gardner was professional in the interviews that
yes.
he carried out?
Absolutely no doubt expressed there, is there, at all whatsoever, about the conduct, even knowing what we know now.